Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana, the hostess with the mostest. Let's get into this. So, no, we are not going to be covering any elements off the periodic table. God is like, hold up, I got something coming through. And I actually have the notes for manganese, right? Not to be confused with magnesium. He had been instructing me earlier to kind of start focusing on the spirit of fear. Now, we had discussed this already, maybe about a year ago, I would like to say. We had a discussion about fear and how it is a spirit that comes from your lowest self, right? The self that is here that needs to be healed before you ascend, right? But he literally said to write down a list. Now, this was something for me, and then he told me to share it with you all. And he wants us to write down a list of all of the things we are fearful of. Now, it's crazy because he said, and when I say he, I am saying the Creator, right? God, God of all gods, Lord of all lords, right? King of all kings. That's what I'm talking about. He said that we're probably going to laugh because it looks ridiculous on paper. Like, you need to see and be honest with yourself. Take your time, kind of really look back on some of your first memories. Like, how far back can your memory go, right? What are the first instances do you remember being literally afraid of something, anything, whether it be a movie or, some Halloween trick-or-treat, haunted house, whatever. Actually think about deeply rooted fears, right? And both of those will give you a root to your trauma, to the traumas that are evolving fear, right? That are fear-based. No matter where they stem from, everything will start to come up. And of course, you might want to be alone when you do this because you might get emotional. You might have things come up that you're not ready to be vulnerable enough to share, with others. You may not understand or be able to process why you have such a fear. And this is obviously if you don't find it funny, right? And even still, he said, once you look at this on paper, like, you need to see your fears written down, all of them. Be realistic, take your time, and really try your best to think back on why you haven't even been able to get over these fears. Your understanding of life itself is kind of based off of fear, right? Especially if you've been going through warfare because you've always been trying to figure out how to survive, right? So that is one of the main things. Not only is this a part of your healing process, you'll start really being able to get to learn yourself, because we're multifaceted, we're spiritual beings. We have alternate versions that we have yet to, run into. But the more we focus on where we are right now, the easier it'll be for us to understand our journey and our future selves in this dimension and all of the dimensions that are connected. Now, in reality, your understanding, again, we've gone over how maybe you need this understanding, and then I came back with the rebuttal with God saying, you don't need to understand everything. You need to just be obedient. And he also told me to say that when people are fighting, both parties are being extorted. Both parties are getting stolen from. Because when you're fighting, you lose and drop your guard to everything else that is valuable for you or to you, right? While you're engaging in a war. So it's easier for things to be stolen. I don't know what that has to do with fear, or like how that's even correlated, but that's what he told me to say. So I said it, okay? But all in all, the structure of this list is based on you. You can prioritize it however, but the goal here is to really hone in on building your spirit up. Fear, hate are two of the lowest vibrations, right? So we don't want to live out those things, because what happens is if you don't release them and get a hold of them, you can manifest them by mistake. Especially if it's a fear that you've been living with for a long time. That would be you giving that fear energy. Especially if other people are aware of said fear. When you create this list, you need to understand that not only are you getting to see yourself outside of yourself, you need to know that this is one aspect of your shadow self, right? And you need to also realize that this is an opportunity to allow the Creator to come in and start building, right? This is a part of the ascension, you getting closer to God. And it doesn't have to be one way, right? This is cookie cutter. Everything is tailored. Again, your list will be prioritized because you want to start attacking these things, right? What's one common fear that most black people have? I don't even have to say it. All right, I don't even have to say it. But I have the fear, and I know tons of other black people that do. It's said that this fear has been passed down as a result of the Middle Passage of the transatlantic slave trade. Who knows? Maybe true. Maybe just because we understand that it's dangerous. I don't know. But it is something that is a part of God's creation. So we would want to learn about it. We would want to know. Most of the things that we are afraid of are connected to your survival. They have a lot to do with not just how you function, but how you live. If you start looking your fears in the face and you greet them, right, and you groom them, you don't run from them. You start learning, just how to be better, how to become better. And I mean, not even in tangible ways, right? Because this is spiritual, but I mean intangible ways also. You start to make better choices. You start to believe in yourself. Your confidence, it starts to just blossom. Not only is this, you getting closer to the Creator, you start making a little more money. You start being around different people. You start to take more risks. This is where you start to expand. So it's never a question of removing, right, these ideals that we have that keep us safe. You don't have to remove what you feel keeps you safe. In fact, it's okay. If you feel like this is something that allows you to be comfortable, it's fine. But is it a crutch? Is it stopping you from developing? Is it causing you to realize that not many of the things you do are healthy because you are operating out of said fear? So, the more you prevail, the more you gain access to the more hidden. And this is the thing. Fears are not even hidden. Like most of the time, you are aware of them. The thing is, you avoid them. And that might be a little bit worse than not even being, cognizant or aware of something, because you're aware of it and you are acting as if it doesn't exist. You're not doing anything about it. So not only are you robbing yourself of energy, you're literally putting your energy down into a lower vibration. You're also removing yourself from a timeline that you could be in. And that can go many ways, right? That can go a bunch of different ways. The overall compass is to understand you do not have to move at anyone else's pace, right? But you do have to move. And when you move, you want to make sure the movement is connected to your alignment. Fear, and I'm saying not an aspect of the spirit, right? That comes from this realm. I'm saying this list. This list of your fears should reflect different phases and stages of your life. If your fears are based off of one time frame, that is, a telltale sign that your fear is keeping you stuck, and I mean emotionally. If you can look at your list and all of the bases or the point, right, of entry of each of these items that you list as a fear, right? If they are all occurring in one time frame or one period of your life, if they're all from childhood, or they're all from high school, or they're all from college, or they're all from, that one relationship, or they're all from that one bad job, or those bad friends, or that one bad idea, that one bad choice, this is stopping you from stepping into your next level. And again, we had the conversation of fear being a spirit and where it hails from and how it affects us on a genetic level, right? And how it can be passed down, if things are not complete. But this is a slightly different conversation. This is actually an assignment. I'm going to do it, and I'm encouraging you all to do it as well. And really start looking at the things you can control that are on the list. Obviously, the ones that are deeper or more emotionally damaging or nerve-wracking, you would put first, right? Or the ones that you feel have hurt you the most, you would consider those the worst fear or the deeper fears, or you would put a greater emphasis, rather, for lack of better terms, on those fears. And the things that we find to be minuscule, you'll put them last, not even realizing that those small things are taken away from your energy as well. And they too are stopping you from opening new thought process. So if I could encourage you to do anything, I will encourage you to write this list down and be realistic with yourself about it, and to not hold back, to let it all out. Hell, make it a journal entry. But I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I do love y'all. I do hope y'all are drinking y'all water, eating y'all fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea, because it's free. And that was not a fart. That was my foot. I love y'all. Have a good weekend. All right. Peace.